The Philippines is not only an archipelago with beautiful beaches, colorful festivals and hospitable people, but also a country that is rich in historical heritage and landmarks. If you are traveling across the islands of the Philippines, you will not only be traveling through different places, but also through different historical points in time. Here are famous monuments and shrines in the Philippines that you can visit. 1. Rizal Monument, Bantaog ni Jose Rizal. The Monument of Rizal in Rizal Park, Luneta, is considered by many as the most popular, most visited and most photographed monument in the Philippines. It was built to commemorate the executed Filipino nationalist, Jose Rizal. The monument consists of a standing bronze sculpture of Rizal, with an obelisk, set on a stone base within which his remains are interred, holding his two famous novels El Filibusterismo and Nali Me Tangha read during his time. Because of his revolutionary writings, he was executed by a firing squad in Luneta on December 30, 1896. 2. Bonifacio Monument. Andres Bonifacio is popularly known as the father of the Philippine Revolution, and the founder and supremo of the Katipunan, KKK. He is an icon of bravery and pride of the Filipinos. The monument is one of the most beautiful works of art in the Philippines. National artist Guillermo Tolentino designed it. An important historical and cultural landmark in the Philippines. The monument has 23 figures including Emilio Jacinto and the three martyred priests Gomburza. 3. Lapu-Lapu Shrine. Lapu-Lapu is considered as the first Filipino hero who successfully defended the Philippines from the Spanish invasion. He's a symbol of courage and success in defeating enemies. He's best known as the hero of the Battle of Mactan on April 27, 1521. The Battle of Mactan stopped the invasion of Magellan in Cebu and delayed the Spanish occupation of the islands by over 40 years. The monument is located in Liberty Shrine, Mactan Shrine, where the historic Battle of Mactan took place at dawn on April 27, 1521. 4. Magellan Shrine. The Monument of Magellan is the oldest in this list. It was built in 1866, that makes the monument almost 150 years old now. The monument or Shrine of Magellan is just a few steps from the statue of Lapu-Lapu. Both monuments and other important markers of events that happened during the historic Battle of Mactan are found in Liberty Shrine or Mactan Shrine. Ferdinand Magellan may be remembered by Filipinos as an enemy of the legendary hero Lapu-Lapu, but the Portuguese explorer is also recognized by many as the man who brought Christianity in the Philippines. 5. Leyte Landing Monument. MacArthur Landing Memorial Park in Palo Beach was the site where the Allied forces led by General Douglas MacArthur landed in Leyte on October 20, 1944. The monument also reminds us the fulfillment of MacArthur's iconic words and promise, "I shall return." The fulfillment of that promise was the start of the Leyte invasion and his campaign to liberate the Philippines from the Japanese occupation during the World War II. The Leyte Landing Monument is composed of 7 double life-sized bronze statues of General Douglas MacArthur, Philippine President Sergio Osmeña, Lieutenant General Richard Sutherland, Brigadier General Carlos P. Romulo, Major General Courtney Whitney, Sergeant Francisco Salvron and CBS radio correspondent William J. Dunn. Old churches in the Philippines. 1. San Agustin Church in Intramuros, Manila. The first was built with bamboo and nipa in 1571, but destroyed by fire in 1574. The second was wooden, but similarly burned down in 1583. The third is the one still standing today. In 1993, it became one of 4 local Spanish-era churches to be chosen by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site, collectively known as the Baroque Churches of the Philippines. If you're looking to visit historical churches in the Philippines, this one should be on your list because it's the oldest church in the Philippines that is made of stone. Situated in Manila under the auspices of the Order of St. Augustine, the current San Agustin Church is actually the third to be established on the site. 2. Manila Cathedral in Intramuros, Manila. Formerly known as the Calooc-Heng Cathedral Basilica ng Manila, this old church in the Philippines is a Roman Catholic basilica dedicated to the Blessed Virgin Mary as Our Lady of the Immaculate Conception. It also serves as the seat of the Archbishop of Manila. Originally established in 1571, The eighth and current rendition of the cathedral was completed in 1958. It was renovated and repaired for earthquake retrofitting and subsidence prevention in 2012. This famous church in the Philippines reopened to the public after a complete renovation in 2014. 3. Colegio Church in Colegio Pangasinan. Known locally as Saints Peter and Paul Parish, this famous church in the Philippines features Baroque architecture and is declared a national cultural treasure by the National Museum of the Philippines and the National Commission for Culture and the Arts. This Spanish colonial-era church is primarily made of bricks or ladrillo with a fortress-like facade designed to withstand revolts and rebellions. Beside it stands Museo Colegio, a mini-museum housing vintage photos and historical pieces of the Baroque church. 4. Binondo Church in Binondo, Manila. One of the oldest churches in the Philippines, this one was founded by Dominican priests in 1596. The Binondo Church is also known as the Minor Basilica of St. Lorenzo Ruiz, the first Filipino saint, and Our Lady of the Most Holy Rosary Parish, and has been rebuilt numerous times over the centuries due to constant damage by war and natural disasters. Sporting historic Spanish and European Baroque design elements, the church has retained its original character. However, only the western facade and the octagon belfry, which suggests the Chinese culture of the parishioners, are what remain from the original structure. 5. Quiapo Church in Quiapo, Manila. Quiapo Church is very popular because it is the location of the reputedly miraculous Nuestro Señor Jesus Nazareno, better known as the Black Nazarene. Located in downtown Manila in Plaza Miranda, the historical church with a Baroque style was expanded in 1984 to accommodate more devotees. Only its facade with twisted columns and the dome at the transept were retained from its classic design. Jose Maria Zaragoza, a renowned Filipino architect, is Quiapo Church's architect. The Baroque church was officially declared a minor basilica in 1988. Museums. 1. The Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City. The beginnings of the Metropolitan Museum of Art date back as far as 1866 in Paris, France, where a group of Americans discussed the need to bring art education to the public. On April 13, 1870, the Met opened within the historic Dodworth Building before moving to its permanent location on 5th Avenue and 82nd Street in 1880. The museum presents over 5,000 years of artwork, including Islamic art dating back to the 7th century and the well-known Edgar Degas painting The Dance Class. It has a permanent collection containing more than 2 million works of art divided into 19 curatorial departments. The main building, often referred to simply as the Met, is one of the world's largest and the finest art galleries and has a much smaller second location in Upper Manhattan at the Cloisters, which features medieval art.
The next one is the National Gallery of Canada in Ottawa. The National Gallery of Canada is committed to offering a welcoming and safe place for our visitors, employees, and volunteers. Discover contemporary and historical artworks, including paintings, sculptures, photographs, and multimedia installations in this landmark site located near the vibrant Byward Market area. When the National Gallery of Canada was established in 1880, the first exhibition primarily consisted of 19th-century works at the historic Clarendon Hotel in Ottawa. Over 140 years later, a 30-foot bronze spider, called the Mammon, greets visitors at the gallery's new home designed by architect Moshe Safdie. The National Art Museum now houses 75,000 works of art ranging from Canadian and Indigenous pieces to the neoclassicist painting The Death of General Wolfe by Benjamin West.
Then, the first National Museum in Thailand. This Bangkok cultural splendor houses the country's most extensive collection of Thai artifacts and artwork. The museum's structures can be traced back to 1782, when they served as the palace of Rama I's viceroy, Prince Wang Na. Nearly 100 years later, the grounds were transformed into a museum with 3 differently themed galleries: a Thai history gallery, an archaeological and art history collection, and a decorative arts and ethnological collection. In addition to the main collections, guests can discover one of the most revered images of Buddha, Phra Phra in the Bodhisattva Chapel. This museum, considered the largest in Southeast Asia, houses a vast collection of antiquities including prehistoric art, murals, bronzes, exhibits from other Asian countries and ceremonial carriages used by royal families. 4. University of Santo Tomas Museum of Arts and Sciences. The mission of the UST Museum is aligned with UST's mission to safeguard its tangible cultural properties and open education to the public, and pursue a leading educational role in cultural heritage studies by competent and compassionate professionals committed to the service of the Church, the nation, and the global community. The UST Museum envisions itself as a leading center of cultural heritage dynamism in the university in the fulfillment of its vision as a premier institution of learning in Asia, committed to the professional and moral formation of her stakeholders for social transformation. Is the oldest museum of the country. It takes you back in the 17th century. 5. National Museum of Anthropology. The National Museum of Anthropology stages the Philippine ethnographic and terrestrial and underwater archaeological collections narrating the story of the Philippines from the past, as presented through artifacts as evidences of its prehistory. This is the government-owned Museum of the Philippines, which should be visited when you are there. It presents to you the ethnic art, culture, ethnology, and preserves various traditional crafts. It displays Philippines in one go and has artifacts representing their rich and varied heritage. It is located in Manila and remains open on all days of the week except on Mondays. Piedra del Sol is the Mona Lisa of the National Museum of Anthropology's collection, an absolute must-see and one of the most popular collection this museum had. This enormous stone circle, reportedly weighing 23 tons, was crafted by the Aztecs and was originally sited in their capital Tenochtitlan.
Museo ni José Rizal in Dapitan City, Zamboanga del Norte. The first building you encounter upon entering the 10-hectare Rizal Shrine, site of national hero José Rizal's exile from 1892 to 1896, immediately to the right, is the two-story, fairly new and modern Museo ni José Rizal, which was originally built in 1971. The museum was later modernized, part of an overall plan to modernize around 15 more local museums nationwide, including those of Loay in Bohol, Iloilo City, Naga City, Baluag in Bulacan, San Juan and Quezon City, by the National Historical Commission of the Philippines, NHCP, chaired by Dr. Maria Serena Ayadiokno, and inaugurated on June 19, 2016, the 155th birth anniversary of Rizal. It now has an e-learning room for online lessons of the National Historical Commission on Philippine history, plus a variety of interactive features such as light and sound tableaus, holograms, showing him talking about his last thoughts as he treks the road to martyrdom, and touchscreen terminals featuring Rizal's everyday activities as a political exile in Dapitan. Prominently on display at the center of the ground floor are some of Rizal's personal wardrobe, a beige long-sleeved shirt and trouser, a brown wool vest and trouser and a black textile coat. For sets of Hake Estate Sibylla Cumana, a book of oracle or Spin the Top and Learn Your Future game created by Rizal and Dapitan, also occupy a prominent spot in the museum.
Also on display are all Rizal's personal writings, books, letters, poems, etc., periodicals, replicas of his artworks, including paintings of his wife Josephine Bracken, his tools for fishing, the original medical instruments used by Rizal in operating the cataracts of his mother, Teodora Alonso, and many other patients from far and wide, plus other historical exhibits. Though pained by his banishment to Dapitan in northwestern Mindanao on July 17, 1892, José Rizal used his time and skills productively to ease his solitude. For 4 years, 1892 to 1896, Rizal kept himself busy with various pursuits and occupations, as an educator, doctor, farmer, artist, architect and engineer, entrepreneur, archaeologist, and naturalist. Rizal's scientific mind spurred him to conduct archaeological excavations uncovering pre-colonial artifacts. As a naturalist, he collected biological and botanical specimens, a few of which were named after him, and as a linguist, he studied Visayan and Malayan languages. It was also in Talisay where Rizal met and fell in love with Josephine Bracken, whose adoptive father Rizal had treated as a patient in Dapitan. Rizal wrote a poem to Josephine, a Josefina, and asked his family to accept her as one of their own. Jose and Josephine lived as husband and wife in the Casa Residencia. Rizal's productive years in Dapitan transformed the lives, attitudes, and consciousness of the Dapitanans. His exemplary life was dictated by simple pleasures, cultivating the land, enriching the minds of the young, encouraging thrift and industry, developing artistry and ingenuity, and showing compassion through communal health and welfare. On his departure, the people of Dapitan turned out en masse to see him off while a marching band solemnly played Chopin's Marche Funèbre. The Museo ni José Rizal, Dapitan reflects Rizal's life in exile through his personal memorabilia and correspondence with his family and friends, whom he missed dearly. Some of his most poignant letters were written in Dapitan. His Nipa hut residence, clinic, school, dormitory, dam and waterworks are living testaments to Rizal's expansive range of talents and his commitment to serve the country he loved.